Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. What is going on, my friends and family from around the world? Charles March and Linnea, how are you both? Hope you're doing great. Gene says, best intro ever. Thank you, Gene. You'll get it every Monday through Friday, all day, 5 p.m. Eastern. Sharon says, happy Super Bowl week. Yes, indeed. A lot of stuff happening this week. My boy Pablo Ruiz, who is in the morning room all morning, is here today. Welcome, Pablo. Doing great. Mr. Vanud Chahardra says, hello, everyone. Hello. I have a trader with the first name Neto. That's nice. N-E-T-O. I like that. Just a quick update. There'll be a lot of people here. Make sure you throw your chat pane to all panelists and attendees so that everyone can see your comments. Otherwise, people will think that I'm just talking to myself. And, I want people to know that I actually have friends and I'm not all by myself. We have so many things to do and talk about. Glenn Thomas says, hello from Pennsylvania. There's my girl, Roberta Schwartz. My girl, Jill from Australia says, hey, Jeremy, how was your weekend? Oh, it was so good. Such a good weekend. Thanks for asking. How was yours? I got a lot accomplished, got to relax a little bit, catch up on some TV shows, catch up on some reading, spent some time with some friends, had some really good coaching sessions. It was wonderful. I loved it. Got some really intense studying in. It was nice. Chakra says, greetings from Munich, Germany. Look at that. And Jack is here from SBUX, UK. I love it. People from all around the world. We got my buddy Valdemar from Poland. Welcome, buddy. Hope you're doing great, man. Him and I are going to be teaming up at some point in 2019 to have a Polish webinar for all the traders in Poland. It's going to be wonderful. I'm so pumped. All right, folks, let me give you a really quick breakdown of what to expect in the afternoon room. So again, this is the afternoon room. This is where we're at, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, pretty much every single day unless the market's closed. And what I want to look at and what we're going to do is we're going to pull up a list of stocks that were requested from traders. Now, I've already got the list built. This is the list for today. And tomorrow, there will be a new set of stocks that we're going to look at tomorrow afternoon. I will give those to you in advance so you can study them, analyze them, and get everything looked over and ready to go for tomorrow. Today is Merchant Monday. Tomorrow is Tech Giant Tuesday, Energy Wednesday, Transportation Thursday, and Finance Friday. Obviously, you can submit any stocks that you want. I will look at anything at all. This show is built on your requests. So you talk about what you want to look at. I pull it up and give my analysis. We have to hop into the broader markets first, as I do every single day, and just kind of cover my overall thoughts. And what we have here on the SPY is another decent gap down that did trade down lower and then trade into some support. This is a very similar sentiment that occurred on this day right here. So on this day, which was the 22nd of January, we had a nice white candle. We gapped down, traded into support, and then kind of bounced. Same thing on this particular candle. Right, we opened pretty low, we traded down, and we're kind of getting a little bit of a bounce on the SPY. So here's an hourly chart. In the hourly chart, you can see we're just really resting against the 50 EMA on the hourly time frame. So my thoughts over the next few days will be on the SPY to really keep a very close eye on this level, mostly tomorrow, expecting to trade up to fill the gap, a trade back down, and then most likely a slow grind and continuation higher. More often than not, that's kind of my thoughts. Doesn't have to happen that way, but again, the weekly chart, we're getting an inside day candle right now. So would it be fun and exhilaratingly exciting if we did just break the low of next week, complete the retest, roll over, come back down, and then bounce? Sure, that would be a lot of fun. That's obviously not going to happen this week. So going to be keeping an eye out for the level. If I'm going to go any type of really full-on bearish at this point on the SPY, when I say bearish, when I say full-on bearish, I just mean buying some puts. We're going to be looking for some closes. Now, the important thing is we have a really good line in the sand on the SPY. This lower shadow from last week will be a great determining factor. If we close below that particular level, I will be more bearish than bullish for the next 2 to 3 days at least, maybe even more than that. But I will be watching this particular price very closely if the SPY closes below that lower shadow. That is something that I'm keeping a close eye on. The Qs had a perfect evening star reversal pattern, popped a little bit higher yesterday and then kind of retested. I do kind of expect us to go higher tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, what I'll be watching for is a little bit of a gap up, most likely. And then if we gap up, I'll be expecting a little bit of a fade down and then a bounce higher. I'm not saying that's going to happen, just simply saying if we do gap up, you have 4 hours of buying at the end of the day. And we were able to take advantage of that buying. So I'll talk about a trade that we took in the afternoon, in the morning room to end the day profitable, which was nice. So this particular gap up on the Qs, right? A lot of buying. We'll just see what happens and then, kind of go from there. So I like this candle, right? A little bit of a hammer type of candle. It was a bearish gap this morning, right? No question. You did have a bearish gap and go on the market this morning, and there were some nice bearish opportunities on the Qs for about the first hour and a half. After that, right, once that new low got put in, right about here, this is when all the newbies went bearish and they got squashed. What's interesting is it's so easy to see not to go bearish right there. 1 bearish candle, 2 bearish candles, let's count these together, 3 bearish candles, 4 bearish candles. How many? 5 bearish candles. Can't be another one, right? 6 bearish candles. No way there's another one. 7 bearish candles. And then what do the newbies do? Oh man, people that got FOMO, they're like, this is it. This is the breakdown. Get in bearish. Woo! They got in bearish and it just, bloop, there's rakes going on higher. So yeah, that is pretty much what happened on the Qs. That would have been the time to exit for a profit, lock in your gains. We did take a bearish trade on Square, and it was actually a little bit before that, I believe. Yeah, before that when I got triggered in. So we're going to go look at that as well. Mr. M. Saz says, can we watch the video recording later? Yep, I will be sending it out tonight. So yes and yes. Stay tuned for that. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But anyway, that's the Qs. That's my thoughts on that particular ETF. Here's the IWM, which is the Russell 2000. And this bad boy, filling the gap. So again, you did have a retest gap. We are gapping down. We did fill that retest gap on the IWM. And then here's the Dow Jones ETF, which is the DIA. And again, this particular candlestick pattern technically is referred to as an abandoned baby. So this is a relatively bearish candlestick pattern. It's kind of like an evening star reversal. The technical term is abandoned baby, which just sounds real sad. That means that middle candle is a gap all by myself. So it's just hanging out there. There's a double gap action. So today's candle is really important. There will be a lot of data that comes out. The government is back open, I believe, according to just the general resources of which I've been reading. I think the government is back open. So this gap down, a lot of economic data going to be coming out this week. Today's candle and the lows, some of these recent lows are very important. Based on the moving averages, I do think that we bounce and we continue higher. But if we close and take out support, then most likely we're going to have a drop in front of us. Jay says, is that a smaller scale of an island reversal? Bingo. It's like a 15-minute or 5-minute island reversal pattern. So just like all other island reversals, if this pattern fills, it's pretty much irrelevant. But if it doesn't fill, keep your eyes peeled. Let's hop into the talk of the town for today. Ticker symbol NVDA. Whoo, man. Talk about getting wrecked. Nvidia, big gap down today, down huge. And a lot of traders did very well on Nvidia. Congratulations for all those people who made some solid gains on it. In fact, let me just bring up two. This is a text message that I got from my boy, Tom, snagging 6R on Nvidia. 6. I was like, hey man, what time did you get in? 9:31 a.m. 1,200 bucks in less than 5 minutes. Folks, this stuff works. If you know what you're doing, you know how to look for it, you know how to play it. This was a gap and go of the great magnitude. If we go into a 1-minute chart, you can see what Tom played. I wasn't about to take that play with the free week and so many people being in the room. There's no way that people would have had time to follow me. There's a lot of people who are still trying to, they're practicing their entries, practicing the stops, practicing all that good stuff. But there it is. First 1-minute candle, just a gorgeous, huge, bullish high wave with bullish volume. And then the second candle, you get that inside candle. The good news is, when I send out the recording, which you'll all be able to watch later, make sure to pay very close attention to what I say on Nvidia when it was gapping down. I mentioned that Nvidia was going to gap, it was going to flush lower, and then most likely bounce. Because Nvidia, is going to have a hard time being down that far in one day. And by that far, I mean, being down 17% is kind of a lot. Now, I don't think there's ever been a historical reference on Nvidia of a big gap down, bearish gap and go with forming a bullish high wave candle before. Right? I don't think there's anything that we can use to reference saying, I wonder what could happen on this particular move. So here's what I will say on Nvidia. I don't necessarily expect a gap down tomorrow. I'm not saying it will happen, but if I'm looking at history, this is a historical gap down on Nvidia on earnings. If we gap down and start showing some weakness tomorrow, let's ride. That'll be a really pretty, very cute, most likely bearish continuation. This is a very pretty high wave bullish candle. So again, I am saying if it gaps down, it by no means has to, but if it does, it could be really good. Harpreet says, how do you use moving averages? It's a great question, Harpreet. Let me answer them by sending you a bunch of videos. All right, so I will reply to that with 5 videos. There you go, Harpreet. Feel free to check those out, crush them, enjoy them, have fun, enjoy. So Nvidia, strong gap down, going to be keeping an eye out for a continuation, right? I don't know what it's going to do, but I am watching for it to continue lower tomorrow. You had a lot of really good setups today, and my buddy Greg Gilbert played some nice moves. Here's just another insight. Another trader, Alexandra, who I met in New York City. She was at the NYC meetup. I don't know if you're here right now, Alexandra, but if you are, congratulations. She was trading this one, and she didn't want to short it, so she went long. So we have 2 traders, right? One person shorted, made 6 Rs, and then one person went long and gained 3 Rs. That's a beautiful way to approach the market. Find what you want to do, determine how you want to trade it. The way you would have traded Nvidia bullish, if I turn the extended hours on, they don't really give us that much information, but what they do give us, and let me just turn the moving averages off here, is if I'm ever looking to fade a trade, I really want to make sure it posts a new low. So right here, when Nvidia's just crashing, and then it retests, and then it crashes a little bit more. So the low of this candle is very important. The low of this candle on Nvidia is 131.01. The low of this candle, 131 even. So it went 1 penny lower, just one. That's a lower low. So going one penny lower, that means that there are some traders who are taking the break out of that, looking to get in bearish. They got trapped, Nvidia popped, and then ran higher. Really check out that time around when I started analyzing Nvidia, because we did go bullish on AMD, talked about Nvidia being bullish right here in the morning room, and a lot of traders like Alexandra were able to take advantage of that for some good gains. So again, that's just a wonderful example of how you have two traders taking something entirely opposite on the exact same stock and both making money. I love it. So that's what I got. Anu says, I meant Nvidia gap down on earnings or news, then its suggestion to get in at open and short. It may not come back up later, but will usually go down for the first few minutes. Yep, that is correct. So Anu, you might be brand new to the real life trading style of trading, and if you are, that's absolutely fine. Just let me know. I'd be happy to point you to all kinds of resources. But this was just a really nice bearish gap and go. So most people figure to initially play it short, and then since it's a blue chip dividend paying stock, at some point when it sells off too much, people will begin to buy that. So what I will do is I'm going to have you email me, jeremy@reallifetrading.com. Shoot me an email and I will send you all kinds of videos and resources on how we play gaps at Real Life Trading. Okay, cool. So that's NVIDIA. Next on the list is NKC. So the reason I'm pulling up NKC is because this is a swing trade that we do have open, and I actually might even lower the entry a little bit. So this is an official swing trade that we actually set up yesterday being Friday. This was the setup before today's candle. So this is what it looks like. So I wanted to get in bullish at 122.32, and I was basing this chart on the Bollinger Bands. I don't use Bollingers very often, but one thing I do know is if it gaps down in a white candle, fully closes outside of the bottom band, it usually will creep back into the band at some point, most likely. Pretty high degree trade. So with NKC gapping down there, and it kind of moving, here's the 15-minute chart, and the 15-minute chart, we're looking at it, and so looking at this on the 15-minute time frame, let me kind of just, zoom out, turn the extended hours off. Here's what it looks like, the 15, you got a little bit of a buy, kind of like towards the end of the day. So we're gonna leave this open on NKC. I'm thinking about, or at least I thought about, I still might, just putting the entry here. In fact, let's just do that. We'll put the entry there. We'll lower the stop just a little bit, so that way we can get in cheaper. Because the reason I'm doing that, so that you all know, today is a shaved top candle. So I don't really want to get in above the high of shaved top candle, because if I do, most likely shaved top candles retest anyway. And there was a video that just came out about shaved top candles. So my thought is, let me try to get in a little bit cheaper, and then that way I can lower the stop, because I lower that entry $1 and I can make this 117.75. All right, so NKC, obviously an aggressive trade, I realize that, but NKC bullish swing, basing this analysis off of the daily Bollinger Band. That's really it. So long technical analysis, let's go NKC, and I'll push this out for every single person out there in the world, and then we'll put it in the official trade tracking journal. Terry says, can we look at PayPal and Apple? Yes, we will put that on the list for tomorrow. Tomorrow's, of course, Tech Giant Tuesday, so we're going to be looking at all kinds of greatness tomorrow. Tomorrow is usually everyone's favorite day. All right, so what I'm going to do is come in here and cancel that particular order, and then push this one over here. So today's date is the 28th, 1/28/2019. And again, for anyone who is asking about getting access to this particular journal, we do offer a journal and trade tracking abilities on reallifetrading.com. To get this particular journal, you will need to be a subscriber to the trading rooms, which everyone has the capability of doing. All right, shared. I think it's a high risk, high reward trade. Based on, it was a gap and go down, and it's open because it's not triggered yet, and there we go. So now I'm gonna hop over to all the subscribers who already do it now. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say new official swing trade. Okay. MKC, done. We're making good time. See if we can buy that a little bit lower. Perfect. Next on the list is Overstock.com, OSTK. And the reason I'm pulling up Overstock, well, should be pretty obvious. Some really good volume, some great candles, and some good poppages coming in out there. And also you have a good double bottom. It can really be called a multi-bottom. I don't even know what you would, there's multiple, like you have this and this and this. So there's a few different ways you could draw Overstock. But one thing I do like is the volume. Chase says, why trade shares instead of options on MKC? You can do either one, Chase, whichever you prefer, my friend. So Overstock, OSTK, what I'm really looking for is some type of pullback. Let me look at this on a monthly chart. Monthly, yeah, that was the thing. Is I remember there being a bunch of long-term moving averages being right in front of our face. So on the monthly chart, you have the 100 and the 200 right in front of your face, which is not super scary because we can break through those. But if we play Overstock, I want to simply get it on a pullback because what you'll notice is you have 4 white candles in a row. So it might not pull back, but if it does, I think that'll be useful. So what I'm going to do is draw Mr. Squiggles and then put that on the list for Wednesday. Come back and just see what it does Wednesday. Remember, folks, all you need is 2 or 3 really good trades a month. Remember that. You don't need to take a million trades. I also do not suggest taking every single trade that I look at because I'm not. And not only am I not, no one else is either. Remember, this is a request-based program. So I'm simply taking the stocks that you all asked me to look at, writing them down, and then going and looking at them and doing my analysis for you and talking about what to look at, talking about how I think it could be traded, and then playing it from there. Some of them I'll be looking at trading, and some of them I won't. So anyway, that's all I have on Overstock. There are some resistances in the way. I'm not a huge fan, so I'm gonna wait it out. Got a request for ICLK. Ooh, interesting. This is having some good volume. Oh, that was a nice move on Friday. I missed this one today. This would have been a nice little continuation. So here's the weekly chart. And again, there was your double bottom right there. So you can see that double bottom definitely was, if it wasn't the week before, it was last week. Closed above that neckline, and you really just got some follow through today. So here's what I would do for whoever requested ICLK. I think this one's going to continue. I'd put on your watch list. It's not a super expensive stock. The volume is okay. And here's the hourly chart. So you had a really pretty gap this morning on the hourly. So notice last candle was a shaved top bearish candle from Friday. And then we opened and gapped above that high, trapping people. Nice little continuation. So ICLK, I mean, realistically, probably the exact same thing. Buy the dip, and keep in mind the target is most likely the 200 simple on the daily. I would have loved to have caught that one on a day trade, but I do like that volume a lot. And let's see, the monthly chart. So just a little bit of a newer IPO, kind of, yeah, relatively new, picking up some steam. Cool, nice find. Let's throw that one on the list for later this week and see if we can also get in on a pullback. But whoever requested that one, cool, nice find. All right, StarBucks. SBUX. So pulling up Starbucks to figure out what we're going to do on this one, because it did have a nice gap on Friday, even though the day trade just did not work out no matter how many times you played it. It really was kind of ugly all day. It appears it's trying to build a flag pattern. And the reason I say it appears it's trying to build a flag pattern, you had a gap and go on Friday, and volume is declining between Friday and today. So you have like a little bit of a lower low and a little bit of a lower high. So what I'm gonna do right now on Starbucks is zoom into the hourly chart and see if I can either get in earlier or just wait. I do like this bearish high wave candle. Yeah, this is one to certainly keep our eyes on. I just like the trend, and dividends are coming up. Dividends are also right around the corner. So if we pop in early enough, we could maybe get some free divvies. So let me put this one on the list for tomorrow. Dividends are on February the 6th. So that is, valid to know, I guess. And we'll see if Starbucks can slowly keep creeping higher, because it did have a decent gap on earnings. John says, how about Dell? Recently public again, approaching highs. We had actually a bullish swing trade set up on Dell right here, and it did not trigger. So I will be happy to put it on the list for Tuesday, and we will look at it tomorrow, kind sir. All right, let's go look at ticker symbol HUYA, H-U-Y-A. And this one is beautiful. So HUYA, we have a bearish inside day candle with decent volume. So this one is going to become an official trade setup. 21.45, the high of today is 21.38. So we're more or less just asking it to break higher. And the stop at 18.94. Here's the overall kind of general trend on HUYA. You're above the moving averages. We could even potentially consider buying this one on a pullback as well. If it wasn't the free week, what I would do is I would talk about kind of a double trade on this one. You can still consider it if you're a little bit of an advanced trader, but looking to get in, have two trade setups. One for the breakout in case it breaks out, and then another one to catch the pullback, probably around getting in about where the stop is now, about 18.94. So on HUYA, what I'll do is set up just the breakout trade, because I do like this gap and go. I do like that high wave candle, and HUYA bullish swing. Nice gap and go. Good direction of EMAs. Nice volume increase on Friday. Okay. HUYA. HUYA, publish that one for the world, and we will throw that as well in the official trade tracking journal. All right, we're making good time. So we pull this one up over here, and this 1/28/2019 HUYA, and again, just trying to catch this on a breakout with an inside day bearish candle after a bullish gap and go. 21.45 with a stop loss, and again, 18.94. 18.94. And again, very similar to the other one. I mean, you can use shares or options on these. Chase, it's entirely your call. If you're going to go options, you'd probably go with the March 20. But I just always kind of prefer shares initially, just because I love them. Shares are my thing. But I will trade an option real fast if it's a perfect setup. MSAS says, how do you make decisions since you're bearish or bullish? Can you give us some examples, please? My friend, keep sitting back in that chair, listening in and enjoying, because that is exactly what we're doing all week long. So you just stay tuned, stay glued, and if you have any particular questions, because these are two bullish setups that I have, and if I have a bearish one, I'll let you know. But yep, this is a great example of getting into a bullish swing trade on a breakout on HUYA above 2145. If you want some reading material, here's another one that I think you would like a lot. This is an article that anyone is welcome to check out. It's free for everybody. 13 easy steps that will make you a more profitable swing trader. Published it this almost a day ago, exactly a year ago to the day, during my last free week. So check that out, read through it, and you'll kind of get a really good idea and glimpse of why I'm doing what I'm doing, where and when. Jay Lindermeister says, looks like maybe a wave 3 or the start of one. I'm hoping so. There's a few different ways you could draw one. This could be a 1, 2, all of this could be a wave 3, or this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this could be like an A, B, C wave. That would be a possibility of getting stopped out. It's probably something like that. But I really do like that volume. I like the fact that we're above all the EMAs. I like the gap. And we're above the long term as well. We're above the 100. So that's kind of cool. HUYA. Jonathan says, I know you're saving AMD and Apple for tomorrow, but both have earnings and some want to hear your opinion as to a direction. Great question, Jonathan. I'll do my absolute best to get to them, my friends. That's all I can say. I'll do my best, man. All right, here's Walmart's WMT. So Walmart, I know my buddy Kevin Toops was in some shares of Walmart, and Walmart had some nice moves. So as of right now, I think Kevin got in bullish around here somewhere and exited almost the high of this candle. So Kevin, very well played. At this particular point in time, Walmart, I mean, this is a nice trend. Really good trend, decent pullback for today, right into the moving averages. And it seems that Walmart is trying to post an inverted head and shoulders pattern. So it might hang out for a little bit longer and then eventually break this resistance. I'm not saying you have to wait until then to go in long on bullish. Walmart's just one of those stocks that if you buy it at the right time and you hold it long enough, you probably should get a win on it as long as you don't freak out or over leverage and just buy at the horrifically wrong time. Weekly chart looks pretty cute. So I'd say give it a few more days to weeks, let it trade sideways a little bit, but it does look bullish in my opinion presently. Next on the list is CVS. And CVS, this is one that did have an interesting lower shadow today. So on CVS, this also happens to be a trade that we were in for a weekly options newsletter. So at this particular point tomorrow on that weekly options newsletter, I'm going to be increasing the stop on those calls that we got triggered into. The low of today on the option price was $1 exactly. And we closed on those options at about $1.50 and some change. So those are the 60. So $1.61 into about $1.68. So again, we're profitable on those, but barely. So I'm hoping this lower shadow is a good sign, and there's a little bit of a bounce that comes in from CVS. For everyone out there in the world, I'll be publishing the weekly options newsletter for free tomorrow. So you'll get a kind of an idea and a peek into how those are written, how those are laid out, and the trading plan that's contained within those. So I like the candle, I like the bounce, and I'm hoping it continues. So again, this was a really nice bullish gap and go back on the 18th of January, and just slowly but surely, those are only February 19th. Sorry, February 2019, so February 15th, and just hoping that those will end up slowly bouncing a little bit higher. Look at those more tomorrow on CVX. United Technologies was very interesting and still is. So United Technologies, I was keeping a real close eye, Chase, on some call options on UTX, as this one is a little expensive little monster. And on UTX, I love this inside day candle that happened, and obviously we just didn't really break out. So I'm keeping an eye on UTX bullish. I like the bullish gap and go that we had on earnings. I like the fact that we're kind of slamming our head against some resistance and trading down some. I also like the fact that this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure. A lot of bearish volume, I agree. I think I also like this on a weekly chart. Let me look at a weekly. Yeah, I did. So it's above the 200 simple on a weekly. I get it. I understand that we've had a lot of buying, like 5 weeks in a row of buying. So a lot of the stocks that I'm looking at, I would really prefer for them to just trade sideways a little bit longer before popping bullish. So I'm gonna put UTX on the list for Wednesday. We'll just come back to that one and see what it's doing. As of right now, no trade on UTX. What we can do is talk about WDC, and then we're going to talk about the 2 day trades that we placed today, 3 day trades that we placed today in the morning room. Western Digital was a decent gap yesterday, of course, being Friday. White candle, gapping up, traded into the 100, and then faded. At this particular point, there are some people really keeping a close eye on a dividend-paying stock at a really strong support. Keep in mind, I have no position on Western Digital, and I don't plan on having a position on Western Digital, but this is the monthly chart, and some of the people out there who are perma bears are only going to see a double top. And they're only going to see this, and they're only going to see this, and they're only going to see that happen. Here's what I do know, is it can't go lower than 0. And since it is a little bit lower, here's one of the big takeaways from today's trading session. Ready for this? Here we go. One of the things that I look for is a stock to just barely break support before going in bullish. I love the fact that the low of this candle from back in 2016 and the low of this candle, that we went a little bit lower than that. Question, do you think there were some people who were in long-term on Western Digital who bought down here somewhere who had their stop right below the low of that bullish candle? The low of that candle was $34.99. What do you all think? Answer, absolutely. There was definitely 100% some people that had their stops just barely below that candle. So the fact that the stock came down to just break below the low, just barely lower, to then start bouncing is a sign that a lot of the traders got trapped, they got stuck, and most likely with this volume coming in, I think this is a really good long-term buying location on Western Digital. Keep in mind, I'm not buying anything down here. If you're wondering, well, Newsom, you're doing all this analysis and you sound bullish, how come you're not going to get it in? I can't be in everything. It's pretty much the only answer. You have to pick and choose your battles, and I already have some exposure in the semiconductor world with Micron, and I actually prefer I should have been in Western Digital or Seagate versus Micron, because both Western Digital and Seagate pay dividends and Micron does not. So I do like dividends when I can get them. But I will say, if you're just looking at a play and you're looking at this industry, I love this volume and I love the break of that low. And within 2-3 years from now, I would highly expect Western Digital to be up strong. But like I mentioned, 2-3 years. For a lot of you, that's a very long time. Goldman Sachs, ticker symbol GS. And here's GS. So Goldman Sachs, I did play it bullish today. And I'll show you why. So GS, this is the daily chart. And this is what I expected Goldman Sachs to do. I expected it to fill this gap. That's what the whole market was doing. And I just got in at a bad time, I guess. So here's the 5-minute chart. And what you're going to get to see this morning is you'll get to see me place this trade, and you'll get to see me lose on it. I did lose small, so I'm actually kind of happy about how I lost on the trade. But here's my thinking. This tweezer top came in, bullish candle, and so my entry bullish was right above that candle with a nice and comfortable faraway stop, about a $1 stop on Goldman Sachs. So it broke down, I went and looked at other charts. I was chatting like just a woodpecker. And what I should have done is, if I was watching this, is when this candle came in, I would have lowered my entry to right here, above the high of those candles, and I actually would have lowered my stop below the low of the day. And I would have held through this rotation. And when that bounce comes in, I would have increased my stop to here. And most likely, if I'm being honest, I probably would have exited on this candle or this candle. I don't think I would have held through all of this goodness. So bottom line, I lost small on Goldman Sachs. The analysis was correct. The timing was just a little bit off. And folks, that's going to happen a lot in your trading. What I'm about to show you is when we lost on Goldman Sachs, we lost a really comfortable, nice, even amount, about 0.55 Rs, give or take. So 0.55%, not a bad loss, kept it small, nice and easy, recoverable, nothing crazy. And then Square was on the docket, and this one was a fun one today. Really fun on Square. So the very first trade that I talked about this morning was a bullish trade on Square that I personally missed about 20 seconds. It's just harder and it's slower for me on the microphone to talk, text, answer emails, webinars, messages, post a trade in the chat pane, post a trade in the worksheet, post a trade in Slack, and then set up in my broker. Sometimes it just takes me at least 2 minutes to do all those things. So on Square, my entry was right above the high of this bullish candle right there. So again, I'll send out the recording and you'll hear me do the analysis. When this trade was coming in right here on Square, I was like, guys, I think this is going to be a bullish move. Pretty much based on the daily chart. We'll talk about that in a second. But the entry that we set up was an entry here with a stop down here. A few traders did catch that move on Square and they rode it up in here for some really good gainages. In fact, I gotta give a shout out to, let me hop up over here. Where is my boy, Michael Ward? I might have, there it is. So Michael got 1.69 Rs on Square. So they missed 2 Rs by 8 pennies, which is brutal, but you know, good try. Angie also made 2 Rs. Andrew also did really good on Square. So that was a really pretty trade, and I'm excited that those traders had a chance to snag that one. Now, what I ended up doing was also taking a bearish trade on Square, which again, I'm really not upset about it at all. It was a beautiful try. Here was the trade. So you had the trade run up, trade come down, trade come down, trade come down. And this is what I wanted to get in, was this initial double top right here. Enter here, stop there. But again, when you're on the microphone, especially during the free week, I wanted to do my absolute best to explain everything that I see and make sure people have a solid amount of time to get into the trade so they don't feel rushed, they don't feel scared, they don't feel worried. That was a nice breakdown. I should have gotten in on that first breakdown. What I ended up doing was I switched to a 5-minute chart later in the day, and this was the trade. Even in hindsight, I still like it. Trade broke down, so this was the double top. Boom, 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 boom. Broke down, was retesting, and when this white candle came in right there, that white candle, I said, okay, guys, let's get in bearish below that candle's low, with a nice and comfortable faraway stop. I think that stop was like right here or so, somewhere up here. And we can see we got triggered in, it rotated lower. We were profitable for like 19 seconds, and then it slowly bounced and blah, 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 blah. And then we got, and then we exited right here on Square. Now again, the cool news is all of this is recorded. You guys are going to check out every single second of all of these trades in the morning room when I send you out the video. The second trade that we did on Square, however, was a bullish one. So I had Mark, Tim, Sam, and Frank, and a few others say, hey, dude, if you're getting stopped out, are you going to flip bullish? And I said, yeah. So when this candle came in, that's a pretty strong bullish candle, right? Very strong bullish candle, good close above all of those wicks. Really nice little close above those candles. And this was also a trade, let's see, Jason Excalibur was looking at Square, and he said, I need one more good trade to make more than I lost on it previously. And this is the one that I set up right before we closed, down the trading room. So it was 1250 Central, 150 Eastern, close above the neckline. I mean, very simple. This was a double bottom, boom, 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 boom. Close with the neckline, buy at the neckline, set a low stop, and I did get exceptionally lucky on this target. That pretty much never happens to me ever. The reason I set my target at a random kind of an arbitrary price is I picked the wick of this candle. I did not think we were going to get up there, but if you look at the math, this was a 1.3R trade. So I lost 0.55 on Goldman Sachs. I lost 0.5 on Square. So doing the math, that's a 1.05R losing day. So what I had to do was make more than that on the trade, on the next trade, which that's what we did on Square. So I kind of just set an arbitrary target, just threw it up there and said, okay, here it is. We will see if it happens. And yeah, I got really, really close to the exact high of the day. 76.49, the high of this candle was 76.50. So pure luck. That never happens to me. And I almost put it right here, which would have also filled. But the high of these candles right there, I just thought, you know what, let me just put it a little bit higher. I just got lucky. Simple as that. But the reason I determined that target is because I set it up so that I would win on the day, right? I was losing 1.05 Rs, which is $500. And then I said, let me set my target a little bit higher than that. So if it does get filled, I can walk away with a gain on the day. So beautiful trade on Square. That was the one that we set up right towards the tail end of the day, which you will all get to see in the recording. And also for everyone, who has access to the Slack channel, this was 12:59, last trade of the day for me, going to flip Square for a new official day trade. And there was the setup right there. This is on the 15-minute charts. I'll throw this chart in the chat pane just so you all can have it if you want to study it. Pretty clean and simple. Just a double bottom, buy off the neckline, stop low of the day. Nothing special. All right. So that's Square. Now what it's going to do from here is a good question. What it's going to do. Look at that grammar. Man. So here's your long-term moving averages. And what Square did today was retest this retest gap. So you had white candle gapping up on Friday. It retested that low. There's a few traders in on Square. FNKO has a 55 February put sale. And I got this February week 1 $70 covered call, which is obviously very deep in the money. And I do expect those shares to get called away on Square, which is not a bad thing because most of us got put at 60. So buying at 60, 300 shares, selling at 70, 300 shares, that's $10 per share, 300 shares, that's $3 grand all day. Not a bad trade at all. We will see if we get exercise up there. If we don't, then we'll just move on. But think about it, 300 shares at $60, 18 grand, not the most insane trade of all time as far as just pure capital is concerned. Getting put some shares down there, looking really toasty. Right now, Mr. Robert FNKO has that put sale at 55, which means he is not afraid to get put shares or buy shares at 55 because he literally just got put at 60 and then sold for a profit. So we'll see if he gets put at 55, but most likely that will not happen. Next on the list is Macy's, ticker symbol M. And Macy's hanging out, doing its thing. I don't think I'm going to take this trade. In fact, it actually looks like it's going to double bottom. So here's the double bottom, and there's a little bit of a high. So if you're looking at playing Macy's, snag that double bottom. That's really it. If you want to play Macy's. If you don't, then just kind of move on. Pablo says XLNX is missing the recap list. True, I did set up an official trade on XLNX, but I ended up canceling it. It didn't get filled. Although you could have made a little bit of money on it if you left it open. It wasn't a bad trade by any means. So the setup that I did do on XLNX, which I ended up canceling, was an entry here with a stop right there. So if you took that trade, you made about half an hour. I didn't personally take that one. I ended up canceling it. Hopefully someone caught this breakdown over here, the stop up there. That would have been beautiful. Been very nice. All right. Thanks for bringing that up, my friend. I appreciate it. TME. This is an interesting one. So TME, this is Tencent Music Entertainment Group, and this stock is flying. I'm a big fan of Tencent long term, and this is a wonderful retest. So we have a resistance right here. We have a double bottom right there. Breakout, retest, nice lower shadow. I would love for this to trade sideways a little bit higher and then pop. I'm not going to personally take Tencent Music bullish because I already have some exposure in good old Tencent itself, TCEHY. So just going to wait on that one, but that's really all I have on this particular stock. I do love this trend though. I'm a big fan. So nice trend, good volume, nice little dip buying opportunity today off of some of these retests. You're welcome to keep this one on your list, but for me, I'm just going to pass. Just again, nice double bottom, camping everything. I can recognize opportunities on every single chart, ladies and gentlemen. Every candle I see, I can see some kind of trade. FNKO had a FNKO pullback. You got to be really careful with how you pronounce this stock, though, especially the ticker symbol and the name. You don't want to say it too fast. So FNKO had a nice little retest today. You had a breakout, last two candles. What you'll notice is it had a retest gap, and today was just a really nice retest. Beautiful pullback on the hourly chart. And there's the pullback on the hourly. Nice, quick little flash lower right into some support and resistance. So what I'm going to do is try to determine if I want to trade this one because I kind of do like it. It had a crazy run up in 08, a massive drop, and now we're actually hanging out. It looks kind of cool. I like this lower shadow, and what I would love for this thing is just to trade sideways a day or two and then continue higher. I'm going to put FNKO on the list for Wednesday. We're going to come back to that one, but I do like that a lot. Had a lot of traders request AMRN earlier today, and I don't see much on this one. Starting to go a little sideways. We got some lower highs. So this is technically a lower high. This is technically a lower high. You got some higher lows. Looks like we're going to be in a triangle for a little bit. If I had to draw that particular pattern. So I don't see personally much on AMRN. Remember, you're more than welcome to share with me your trade setups, your charts, you can put in the chat pane. John says, GoDaddy. I'll put GoDaddy on the list for tomorrow, Mr. John. Okay, next on the list is SWK. This is one that we've also been keeping a really close eye on. Stanley Black & Decker. This is the trade analysis that I set up on Friday. I did not get into this trade on Stanley Black & Decker just because it's a little expensive and I already have some buying power open on some stocks. So I think this, again, blue chip stock, dividends coming up in about a month, month and a half. Here's the weekly chart. I think that there was a long-term average, right? Where was that long-term? Was it on the monthly chart? No, I guess not. I forgot. I thought there was a long-term average somewhere. Anyway, I think this gap is probably going to fill a little bit. that's the thing, is you had this gorgeous high wave bullish candle that happened after the gap down on earnings. Then you had another high wave inside day candle, bullish gap and go on Friday, a little bit of a retest today. Here's the hourly chart on Stanley Black & Decker, and it looks real cute. So if you're playing this one bullish, it makes the most sense to me. That's pretty much all I have on Stanley Black & Decker. Again, I'm not in that one personally, but there are some real-life traders who are. Nike, ticker symbol NKE. I was doing some back trading on Nike the other day. That's why there's all these interesting color lines on here. So on Nike, I will draw support resistance here. I will also draw one. Should I have two? I guess I'll draw one there. And I'm gonna draw one more. Where would that really nice? Where would that need to go? Let me look at this on the weekly chart. Yep, that's a great line. Just a little bit lower right there. Perfect. Okay. So those are my three main lines on Nike. I like today's gap down. It looks like it had a shaved bottom candle. So my thoughts on Nike are pretty simple. If for any reason it takes out the low of this candle, let it pull back into about the mid 20 to 50 EMA range, about 77, and buy it down there. Otherwise, I mean, it's like the rest of the market. It's kind of tracking the rest of the market. Here's the hourly chart. And as most of you know, many of you know, this is the bill paying time frame right here, my friends. If you want to make money with swing trading, you got to get really good at that hourly chart. Look at Nike. How many times it's just bouncing off the 50? Boom, boom. I got stopped out right there, but then it does it again with a bullish gap and go. Getting in bullish around here somewhere. Boom, boom. Here it comes down to the 50 again. Bingo. Another bounce off the 20. Bam. Coming back down to the 50. Bam. So it's going to continue higher. Most likely. That's the direction of the market right now, is intermediately bullish. So on Nike, I mean, you know, looks good. And again, if any reason it closes below the low of today's candle, I would like to buy it around 77 and some change. Don't have any positions on Nike. Under Armour, the stock is just baffling me, and I have no idea how to trade it right now. Just looking at the chart, it looks bullish. So I don't know why this thing has been bamboozling me so, but it has. And I guess this is just trap city. You got a really nice retest gap on Friday. Most of the market did retest gap on Friday. We got a little bit of a retest today. So here's the hourly chart. And hourly chart looks good. Trend looks good. Volume looks good. If you had to say, hey, Newsom, you get a lifetime supply of milkshakes if you can give me a winning trade on Under Armour, I'd have to say buy the pullback at 21.21 with half an R. Buy another half an R worth at 20.70, and then set your stop loss down here at about 19.99. And that's how I would personally play Under Armour. I would buy it in two halves. One half, again, just on a short pullback at 21.22, and the other one right here about 20.70. And that would be my play on Under Armour. I mean, right now, moving averages are crossing on the daily chart. Weekly chart, I mean, it's pretty sideways, but they're all about to cross as well. And just a lot happening on Under Armour to trap a lot of folks. So very sideways right now on Under Armour. Here is Seagate Technology, STX. This one's interesting. So this is Seagate on the daily chart, and I did watch Seagate a lot today for a day trade. I love the fact that it was opening below the low of this high wave candle. I love the fact that it was gapping down about 4% at open. And here's the 5-minute chart. And if you did play this thing bearish, I applaud you. I think it was a nice little move. This was the breakdown that some people may have played. Bearish here, stop here, something like that. Because you can see it traded, consolidated, and then it broke. The one reason that I didn't like that trade was because of this little gap right here. I don't know why, but that gap in the intraday pricing just threw everything off for me on this trade. Plus, this would have been the candle to get filled on. And if I did take that trade, I probably would have gotten out for a very small gain around here. I would have taken off some profit, most likely on this candle. Not a lot, like a quarter or a tenth of the position. I would have lowered the stop to here. Wouldn't have gotten stopped out. This bearish candle comes back to break even, and I would have exited the trade there, and that would have been that. So Seagate, if you tried it, either won small or lost small, congrats. What's it doing from here for a swing trade? That's a great question. All I know is I love the fact it's interacting with the 100, and this is another dividend-paying stock. The yield is actually quite scrumptious, and there is your 100 simple moving average. Carity says the webinar is until 6 p.m. Central. Nope, 6 Eastern. Sometimes I go a little bit long, Carity, just to try to add value. But it is normally the cutoff at 6 Eastern. If you need to leave, I won't be offended, but I record everything, so you'll be happy to check out the end if you need to. Only have a few more minutes left, don't worry. Anu says, how will you trade Seagate? I personally won't. We were in some call options not too long ago that Travis and Jesse Levan made some money on. Again, this is the monthly chart with dividends, very long-term perspective. If I were personally buying shares of Seagate, I would leg in and just buy some small positions. I'd buy some shares here off of the 100. I'd buy some more shares if we pull back down to about 41, and then I would buy a whole lot more at 38. I would kind of pyramid myself into the trade, see what's going on, and just nimble in a position on Seagate. Long term, I mean, it's a nice buy low, sell high, dividend paying company. All right, just a few more. Here's Microsoft, and I hope no one minds that I'm going long. I still have never really had anyone complain about that. Here's the daily chart on Microsoft, and this one's a weird one. Earnings, right around the corner. What's it gonna do on earnings? I do not know. But what I can say is we are squished in between the 100 and 200 simple on the daily. Whatever direction Microsoft gaps, especially if it gaps up, would be a wonderful approach. Microsoft on a gap up would be tremendous and a nice bullish move. If Microsoft gaps down, the whole market will probably be down a little bit that day, and it probably will end up fading. So trading it bullish. We'll have to see on the gap, of course. That's going to be later this week. So I will put Microsoft obviously on the list for tomorrow, and we'll look at it again tomorrow just to see what Microsoft ends up doing, since tomorrow is Tech Giant Tuesday. Here's Visa, and Visa, pretty much the same thing. I mean, earnings right around the corner. It did close below the 200. It is battling the 100 and 200 simple moving average. I personally don't see anything super appealing on Visa yet. So let's put that one off until Wednesday. Again, earnings are this week, and a fun gap down on Visa would be electrifying. So again, I will be looking at those. I'm in the morning trading room all week long this week, and I'll be in the afternoon room every single day this week as well. So we'll get a great opportunity to look over everything and kind of crush it from there. This one was requested during the class. Whirlpool is said to be gapping down a lot, and Whirlpool is gapping down to 116.15, a gap and go for tomorrow. So by the way, folks, type in a 3 if you would love to find a stock that's gapping 15 hours before market open. We do that pretty much every single day in the afternoon swing trading room, as we will look for stocks that are gapping the next day, and this is one of them. So you're welcome to go ahead and back trade, practice, see how this thing is going to move. But looking at the pre-market, this is the candle. I can already tell you, if this candle right here gets taken out, I'll be looking for a bearish trade. I'll be day trading Whirlpool for you all tomorrow morning. It'll be on the list. Tune in. It's going to be fun. Jonathan said, Square. I've already looked at Square, my good man. Already looked at it. But it will be on the list for tomorrow, since tomorrow is Tech Giant Tuesday. Two last ones I want to look at. Here's AMD. And AMD was down a decent amount today. And this is the trade that I missed on AMD. It was actually a bullish fade, and I missed it by seconds, realistically. I do want to give a shout out to my buddy Robert Falco, who played this one. Very simple. Double bottom, high wave candle. I wanted to get in above that move. When that breakout happened, I set up a limit buy, and that limit buy just never filled. For me, some traders did get filled on AMD, and they rode it all the way up, exiting around here somewhere. How much did you make on AMD, Falco? If I had to guess, probably like 1.3, 1.2, somewhere right around there. 0.85, nice. Nicely done. So 0.85, that's a great trade on AMD, especially on a bullish move, on a bearish gap down. Really the best way to trade that one. And if you traded bearish today, congrats. Earnings is around the corner on AMD. I have a trader who likes to trade this one very frequently. And I actually am looking at some option selling on AMD because there is some premium down here, even for this Friday. So my buddy Brad Runge has a $16 put sale expiring this Friday. And he also has a covered call at 24.5 expiring this Friday. So you can see he's kind of like strangling the entire market here on AMD. We will see how earnings impact this one. We're going to look at AMD more tomorrow. And of course, the Big Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. Everyone wants to know what Apple is going to do on earnings, including myself. I don't know what Apple's going to do, but here's what I can say. I don't trade strangles or straddles over earnings on Apple because it realistically usually does not gap that much. Earnings announcement is tomorrow after market close. So once the market closes tomorrow, we will be able to talk about it on Tech Giant Tuesday live. So we still have 24 more hours before we have to discuss it. Realistically, I expect Apple to do this. I expect Apple to gap up, trade down, and then bounce higher. Feel free to take a screenshot. That's my actual thoughts on Apple. If it does anything different than that, I will be quite surprised, and I will play it, right? I will short it. I'll buy puts if it gaps down. But that's just the most realistic expectation. Small gap up, a little bit of a fade, and then a continuation higher. Kathy says, my first day of the trial, some good info. Thanks. You're welcome, Kathy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Folks, that's my time. Sorry I went a little bit over. Tomorrow is Tech Giant Tuesday. Damien says, thanks, Jeremy. My pleasure, brother. So here's the stocks we'll look at today. What stocks do you want to look at tomorrow? And I will do my absolute best to get them all in there. Here's what I have on the list so far for Tuesday. HEXO, Apple, PayPal, StarBucks, Dell, GoDaddy, Square, Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, Adobe, and then the chat page is filled with very nice people saying very nice things. Thank you, folks. I appreciate that. Carolyn says, great first day for the free week. Thanks, Jeremy. My pleasure, Carolyn. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that immensely. Jason says WHR. All right, we're going to look at WHR as well. Jason and Diane, are you two trade together? Is this like a wife-husband duo in the building? Mom and son, nice. That's super cool. I love that. Well, I will say this. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we're a very family-oriented trading company. I will have an incredible special for anyone who wants to sign up for the trading room coming out starting tomorrow. We do offer BOGOs. So if you trade with your a very intermediate family member, mom and son, dad and daughter, dad and son, mom and wife, husband, whatever, intermediate household family, I'd be happy to extend the discount to both people, meaning if you buy one, they automatically get the second one. So just keep that in mind. If you're trading as a team and as a unit, I would love to trade with you together. Folks, this is only the first day. The amount of people and the amount of growth that you can expect over the next few days and weeks is tremendous. Wonderful trading today. A nice, profitable day out there in the market. I say nice. We escaped by the skin of our teeth, but it was a green day. Tons of recordings coming your way. Feel free to check it out. Watch it until your eyes bleed if you want to, because there is an immense amount, so much material. Get ready. I hope you feel overwhelmed, because truly, folks, my goal is to enrich your life with as much content as I can. Let me know how I can help. Let's crush it. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. You all rock. Bye.